Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know how this works. We take your suggestions, dive deep into the research, and come back with hopefully some
Methodology.
interesting insights.
Yeah.
And this time, uh, we're tackling something that I think everyone can relate to.
Mm.
It's all about having better conversations, more effective communication,
Mm.
really leveling up that skill set.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've got some fascinating source material to work with.
Yeah.
These lesson plans, they're not your typical, like, how to make small talk kind of thing.
Right.
They're using some really creative scenarios, like
Yeah.
comparing life in a village versus a city,
Oh, interesting.
thinking about the responsibilities and rewards of pet ownership,
Okay.
and even navigating the complexities of relationships.
Wow.
And, on the surface, those might seem like pretty simple topics, right?
Yeah, they do.
But they're actually packed with opportunities
Yeah.
to practice some really crucial communication skills.
Absolutely. I mean, what really struck me when I was looking at these lessons was how they encourage us to, think critically about the choices we make.
Yeah.
To consider different perspectives and to really develop our emotional intelligence
Yeah.
all through these seemingly casual conversations
Right.
about everyday topics.
It's like they've snuck in this master class in communication.
Yeah.
Disguised as just a casual chat,
Exactly.
which I love. I love that approach.
It's brilliant.
So let's start with that village versus city life comparison.
Okay.
The lesson plan frames it as this classic pros and cons exercise. But I'm thinking
Mhm.
there's got to be more to it than just like deciding where you'd rather live.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
What do you think?
It's not really about, picking a side like village or city.
Right.
It's more about understanding that
Yeah.
even a seemingly simple decision, like where to live,
Mhm.
involves weighing all these different factors, articulating your preferences and
Mhm.
really recognizing that there is no one right answer.
Oh, I see.
It's about the process, the thinking that goes into it.
So it's like you're building this framework for decision making
Exactly.
that you can then apply to all sorts of situations.
Yeah.
Not just choosing where to live.
Exactly.
Yes.
And, think about it like you're using a decision-making matrix or
Oh,
something.
matrix, yeah.
You list out all the pros and cons,
Hmm.
but then you give each item a weight
Okay.
based on how important it is to you.
I see.
So, for one person,
Mhm.
peace and quiet might be a huge pro, super important.
Right.
But for someone else, it might not even register.
Right. It's all about your personal values,
Exactly.
your priority.
Your priorities.
That's such a good way to bring some objectivity into those decisions
Yeah,
that can sometimes feel really emotional.
it can be. It can be.
Like, I remember when I was trying to decide whether to move to a new city for a job,
Mm.
and I was so focused on, like, the potential career benefits
Right.
that I wasn't fully considering,
Yeah.
the social connections I'd be leaving behind or the
Mhm.
cost of living,
Yeah.
or even just, like, how much I loved my little neighborhood.
Right, all those little things
Mhm,
that,
yeah.
really add up.
And it's easy to get caught up in the excitement,
Totally.
of something new
Mhm.
and miss those less obvious but equally important factors.
Absolutely.
So this exercise, it's not just about making the right decision.
Right.
It's about becoming more aware of your own
Mhm.
decision-making process.
And being able to articulate it
Yes,
to yourself and to others.
articulate it. That's key.
Yeah.
I love that.
And another cool thing about this whole village versus city thing is that it encourages you to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To think about why someone might thrive in that bustling city environment,
Right,
even if it wouldn't be your cup of tea.
right.
And that's building empathy.
It is, yeah.
You're recognizing that different people have different needs, different priorities.
And that's essential for good communication,
Absolutely.
being able to see things from multiple perspectives.
100%.
Okay, so speaking of needs and priorities, let's talk about pets.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't love a good pet story, right?
Yeah. Everyone loves pets.
But these lesson plans, they use pet ownership as a way to, like, springboard into
yeah.
developing some really crucial communication skills,
Interesting.
which at first I was like, really? Pets?
Yeah, how does that work?
But it totally makes sense.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So think about it. Even something as simple as, like, feeding your pet
Mhm.
involves communication.
Oh.
You're trying to understand their hunger cues.
Right.
You're setting boundaries around meal times. And maybe even negotiating with other family members
Yeah.
about who's responsible for, like, walking the dog or cleaning the litter box.
Sharing the responsibilities.
Exactly.
That's a big one.
And let's not forget the nonverbal communication.
Oh, yeah. Pets are masters of that.
Oh, my gosh, my cat.
Mm.
She has mastered the art of the I'm starving stare.
The stare.
She doesn't even need words. It's just like
Just the eyes.
her eyes are just piercing my soul.
Feed me.
Feed me. And learning to interpret those nonverbal cues,
Right.
that's a skill that translates to human relationships too, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just like with pets, clear communication with people involves expressing your own needs,
Right.
setting boundaries, and being sensitive to those unspoken messages
Yeah.
that others might be sending.
Subtle cues.
The subtle cues, exactly.
All right, so we've talked about village versus city. We've talked about pet ownership.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into the deep end here
Yeah.
with relationship challenges.
Right.
This is where things can get a little more complex, a little trickier.
Right, for sure.
But the lesson plans really emphasize the importance of developing what they call an emotional vocabulary
Oh, interesting.
and fostering this, like, culture of support.
Okay, I like that.
So let's break that down a little bit.
Do it.
What's so important about having a strong emotional vocabulary?
Well, think about it this way.
Mhm.
Being able to actually name your emotions.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I'm happy or I'm sad.
Right, the basic stuff.
But like, I'm feeling frustrated or I'm
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed or I'm feeling, misunderstood.
Right, being specific.
Being specific. It allows you to like
Yeah.
really communicate your inner world to others
Oh, I see, yeah.
and to advocate for your own needs.
Advocate for your own needs.
Yes.
That's huge.
Right. Because if you can't articulate what you're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
how can you expect others to understand it, let alone help you?
Right.
Right.
And this is something I've personally struggled with.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Putting my emotions into words. It's like I know how I feel,
Yeah.
but finding the right words,
Yeah.
oof, it could be a challenge.
It can be. It's
To like,
okay.
where's my thesaurus when I need it? Right?
Yeah. Right. Do you have any like tips or tricks for expanding that emotional vocabulary?
Oh, for sure. One technique I found really helpful is
Mhm.
paying attention to my physical sensations
Oh.
when I'm experiencing an emotion.
So like if you're anxious.
Yeah, like, do I feel a tightness in my chest?
Mhm.
If I'm angry, does my stomach churn?
Oh, that's interesting. So connecting those
Yeah.
physical feelings to specific emotions
Exactly.
can make it easier to like identify and name them.
It gives you a concrete starting point.
Right.
Because sometimes those feelings are so amorphous,
Mhm.
it's hard to even know where to begin.
Yes. And then it's like, I don't know, I just feel bad,
Exactly.
which is not very helpful.
No, not helpful at all.
For anyone involved.
No.
But I also think it's important to remember, that communication is a two-way street.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about expressing yourself, but also about
Right.
actively listening
Mhm.
to the other person, trying to understand their perspective,
Yeah,
even if it's different from your own.
and that's where that idea of support comes in.
Right? Yes. That's the
But
cool way.
because good communication, it's about creating a space
Mm-hmm.
where everyone feels safe to express themselves
Right.
and knows that they'll be heard
Yeah.
and understood.
Heard and understood. That's key.
It is. It is.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We started with that seemingly simple choice, village versus city life.
Right.
Then we talked about pet ownership.
Mm.
And now we have delved into the depth of human relationships.
It's all connected.
It is. It is. Who knew that everyday conversations could be such rich learning experiences?
Right. It's amazing what you can uncover when
Yeah.
you start paying attention. When you start paying attention, exactly.
So, listeners, I want you to think about a recent conversation you had.
Hmm.
Any conversation, could be big or small.
Yeah.
And ask yourself, how could I have used these concepts?
Yeah.
The pros and cons, the needs and boundaries, the emotional vocabulary to communicate more effectively, to gain a new perspective, to connect on a deeper level.
Ooh, that's a good challenge.
Right. And try it out.
Yeah.
The next time you're chatting with someone, no matter how casual the conversation, see if you can apply these ideas.
See what happened.
You might be surprised
Yeah.
by the subtle shifts in your relationships and even in your own self-awareness.
Oh, I love that.
Because becoming a better communicator, it's an ongoing journey.
It is.
And even small steps
Yeah.
can lead to some really significant growth.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. And to our listeners, as always, thank you for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.